I know this series is entitled Secret Invasion. However, this series really should be entitled I F***ed Up, a Nick Fury biography.
You done messed up, Aaron! Now take your ass on down to Oshag Hennessy's office right now and tell him exactly what you did.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will. Welcome back to another spoiler review here on the channel. I'm taking a look at episodes 4 and 5 of Marvel's Secret Invasion. This is, of course, a spoiler review, as all the episode reviews for this series have been, and any spoiler review that I do, I put spoiler review right up here in the corner. So before you click on it, you should know it's a spoiler, or that I'm talking about stuff that happened in the episode. So if you haven't watched the episode yet, definitely make sure you check out the latest 2 episodes of the series, because episode 6, the finale, is coming up next week. So here's hoping that this video hits before then. I don't know, but I'm going to try. Make sure you go check out the newest episodes first before you come back and listen to my thoughts on the episodes. And if this happens to be your first time checking out one of my videos, hi, my name is Will, and I do geeky stuff on the internet. I do reviews and reactions, discussions, some gaming, some drinking. I just try to have fun. I hope you do as well. And if you happen to enjoy this type of content and you like to hear it from a geeky bear like myself, subscribe to the channel. I almost knocked my lightsaber off on the ground. Subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it and will really help me out. So, episode 4 is entitled Beloved. It picks up after the events of episode 3. We find out that Fury's wife is working for Gravik. On top of that, there's still speculation on if Roadie is a Skrull or not. Spoiler alert, he is a Skrull. This isn't our Roadie. This is some other cat who's posing as Roadie, who is all about Gravik and the cause of trying to take over the planet for the Skrull people. Damn it. Roadie is a Skrull. Thanks to this episode, we see it in full reveal as Skrull Roadie was taking a shower and turned back into Roadie. But you can kind of tell, like, it's not the greatest hidden secret. I get that Roadie can be somewhat of a hard ass in some iterations of the movies that we've gotten with him, but by the time Endgame rolled around, he didn't seem like that much of a hard ass, especially when we saw him in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I'm talking about the series, not the movie, with his interaction with Sam. It wasn't nearly as combative as when he was interacting with Fury, but yeah, I get it. Fury's made a lot of mistakes, which is, we find out with these 2 episodes that everything is his fault. And even what Gravik's looking for is something that Fury did that I don't think most of the Avengers would be 100% cool with, which we'll talk about that in a minute. Through episode 4, entitled Beloved, feature the pivotal moment of Fury confronting his wife about her working for Gravik, basically, and they have a very Mr. and Mrs. Smith moment where they're interacting with each other and basically laying everything out on the line. Fury's kind of questioning her. They both are packing heat. It's very similar to that vibe that movie presented, where you could tell Fury still loves Priscilla. Of course, Priscilla loves him, and you get a little bit more information about like who Priscilla is portraying. It's actually a woman who was dying, and it was kind of one of those situations where she got to know the person before she died and basically offered to continue to live her life. That's why she is presenting as this person. And one of the 3 promises was, yeah, not to hurt Fury. So they both shoot at each other, and the screen light goes to black, and then you see that there are bullets on the wall. And I love Fury's line where he's like, I don't know if we should get a divorce or renew our vows. One or the other. But it is kind of bittersweet, because obviously I think this is probably the last time they're going to see each other because of how the situation is. And of course, Priscilla now knows that Gravik's going to come after her because she failed in eliminating Fury. And of course, she got those orders from Roadie, and Fury must have bugged Roadie at first. And this is one of the beauty things about this series. I thought that was Talos portraying Roadie to try to work it out to see if Priscilla was working for him or not. But I think being that it was actually the Skrull Roadie, it actually worked out better for him. So he had his confirmation for Roadie as well. And that's when we see Roadie is a Skrull, when Fury confronts him, but Roadie does have the footage of Gravik shooting Maria Hill as Fury and threatens to release it, pretty much making Fury public enemy number 1. And spoiler alert for episode 5, he does do that. There is the attack on the president's motorcade, which you kind of saw in the trailer, where Gravik actually leads a strike force who are posing as Russians in order to try to attack and assassinate the president, sparking World War III. In that fight sequence, 2 very important things happen. Number 1, we see Gravik showing off more of his Super Skrull abilities, and he actually has the abilities of Groot. Some of the DNA that Gravik has is from Cull Obsidian and Groot, as well as the Frost Beast. Now, all 3 of those creatures and characters were on Earth at any given point in time, most notably Groot during the Battle for Earth, as well as Cull Obsidian, same battle. How did he get that DNA? Well, we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Gravik leads the strike team to try to take out the president while Roadie is there, but Rhodey's clearly not doing anything because Rhodey's a Skrull. Rhodey's just going to do what he wants to do. But Fury and Talos show up. Before Fury and Talos get there, Talos does get a meeting with Gaia, basically apologizing to what happened, which, fun fact, forgot to mention, Gaia also went through the process to become a Super Skrull, unbeknownst to anybody else. That's how she survived being shot by Gravik. She has powers as well. I don't know how many powers, but she at least has the healing properties of the Extremis. I guess it's not a virus. It was what was the Extremis? I don't remember. It's been so long. There's so much stuff. She has that ability to heal herself. That's how she was able to survive. Gaia and Talos got a brief moment of seeing each other. There's a little still tension between the two. Gaia calls Talos a failure, which is kind of bad because this episode also features the death of Talos. So during the combat with the motorcade, Talos is able to help break the president out of the damaged motorcade that he's trapped in and help him and Fury get to safety. At the same token, he is shot by Gravik, and then also somehow Gravik makes it over there disguised as one of the other operatives of the reinforcements that came to help the president, and pretty much stabs Talos in front of Fury, killing him. Yeah. Seemed very anticlimactic, which is, it's not necessarily the story's fault, but it is the fault of just a 6-episode series where things get rushed very quickly. I mean, Maria Hill got killed in episode 1. Talos got killed at the end of episode 4. The series just seems like it's really kind of just eliminating anyone who's still on Earth, who's any importance to Fury, because I don't think Fury is going to be on Earth after this series. I think he is done with Earth for the most part, and he will be primarily in space going forward. It just seems like they're wrapping up a lot of loose ends for this character, but the character is the catalyst for all of this shit happening. The whole reason that the Skrulls are on Earth still was because of Fury and the promise that he made to them. The whole reason that Gravik is so galvanized and weaponized at this point is because of the failed promise. The whole reason the rift with him and his wife was because he had PTSD after the blip and basically just completely left Earth. Jesus. Completely left Earth. And that put that marriage in a tight fit. Tight fit? It put strain on their marriage. All of his chickens have come home to roost. I think that is the phrase I'm trying to say. So that's where episode 4, Beloved, ends, with Fury getting the president to safety. Talos is dead on the ground. And we jump into episode 5 entitled The Harvest, which would make you think like they're trying to harvest something, but in actuality, the harvest refers to something that Fury did that no one else but a few Skrulls, including Gravik, knew. But the harvest was a sampling of all of the spilled blood by every Avenger that took part in the Battle of Earth at the end of Avengers Endgame. So when Endgame wrapped up, and after they defeated Thanos, Fury sent in a few Skrulls that were working with him to collect DNA samples from everybody dropped some sort of blood during that fight. I don't think anybody got out of there without a scratch. I'm assuming Fury's idea was that if something was to happen, they would at least be able to maybe resurrect some dead Avengers or potentially synthesize versions of their powers in order to make it so that they don't have to rely so much on Earth's mightiest heroes. It's very stupid in the long run when you think about it, because that sort of supply of potential superpowers was very appealing to Gravik. And when Gravik was coming up with his plan to be able to stop any sort of threats to his plan of taking over Earth, and decided to create Super Skrulls using DNA from other people, he wants the harvest so he can truly become a Super Skrull with the powers of all the Avengers. That's the whole reason Fury came back to Earth, was because of all of this stuff that is completely his fault. But no, episode 5, Fury is trying to protect the president while also trying to get the president to not trust Roadie, because that's not Roadie. So Roadie is still alive, most likely in the compound in Russia that all the other hostages are being held at. But we also see that there's a lot of dissension in the ranks of the Skrull forces, because Gravik has just become more and more unhinged because his quest is to get a hold of the harvest. And by doing so, he ends up killing one of his lieutenants in front of everybody and killing a couple other people who are like, dude, you've like completely lost your mind, and willing to put up and sacrifice his people in order to get his war. So it's just spiraling out of control at this point. You also have to deal with Gaia in remorse of the death of her father and wants to give him a proper burial, so she meets up with Fury to get that information. Fury refers him to Priscilla because Priscilla will be able to help. At the same time, that's when Priscilla's house is attacked by the Skrull forces. They have to fight their way out of there. They do give him a proper burial, so it's not some weird fake out that he's still alive. They burned the body, so he did. Probably the last time we're going to really see Priscilla at this point, unless she somehow pops up in the finale. I do really like this episode for a few reasons. Not only the continued interaction between Roadie and Fury, I really like that interaction, but you can just tell more and more that, yeah, the audience at that point knew that wasn't Roadie, and they just really weren't trying to hide it anymore. But to be perfectly frank, I don't think they hit it really well after the first meeting, because after that first meeting something was just off. Even if Roadie was mad, Roadie wouldn't just straight up be that cold-blooded with Fury if we're going off of the same interaction Roadie had with Sam. You know what I'm saying? It's just they tried really hard to make it seem like Roadie was just upset with Fury and was just like, yo dude, you screwed up, my hands are tied, that sort of thing. No, he relished in it, and that's why when that whole thing was like, is Roadie a Skrull, I'm like, I kind of had a feeling he was a Skrull after that first meeting. But these two episodes basically just lifted the veil and just made it so that everybody knew. At this point, without a lot of allies left, Fury does have to turn to Sonya Falsworth, played by Olivia Colman, who, by the way, this series has been such a delight. She is so delightfully dangerous in a weird, she feels like someone who would offer you tea and cookies but then strap you to the chair, waterboard you, and try to cut off your testicles all at the same time. It's actually really fun to watch her, and I really hope we kind of see more of her after this series, because I really did enjoy it. Now, I don't know if she's a Skrull, because again, the series does a really great job of playing off of who's actually who, so I give the series major props for that. But they do have to kind of team up, and she goes with Fury to a cemetery where it has another tombstone with Fury's name on it, because he's got tombstones all over the place. But that's where he moved the harvest after he had misgivings about Gravik, and to try to keep it safe, because it's a stupid thing to do anyway, but he already did it, so at least he's trying to be responsible about it too a little bit. And then he's basically got his jacket, his eye patch back. He's back in full Fury mode and going to confront Gravik, who has threatened to give up the location of where the Skrulls are to the U.S. government so that they can bomb it if Fury doesn't give them the harvest. So we are in the literal end game of the series, and a callback to the end game, the movie. Like I said at the beginning, 6 episodes are going to go by really quick, and sad to say it, you do feel it in the series. It is very quick. It is a snippet of a larger scale situation, and it is a small section of a wider populace of Skrulls. Talos is dead. So the only other Skrull liaison or partner he technically has is Gaia, and that's on thin ice regardless. I don't see this having a happy ending, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know how you transition from this to the Marvels, because I watched that trailer and you see Fury's interactions with Carol Danvers and everyone in that movie just from the 2-minute trailer, and it's like, that is a tonal shift if I've never seen one. Which, again, I love that you can do different tones of emotion and things in the MCU, but then you do run into that issue where those tones clash dramatically between one series to the next. It is going to be interesting to see how the finale leads into the Marvels. We know the character survives because of the Marvels, unless that is a Skrull, which wouldn't really make any sense because I don't know of any real Skrull allies he still has floating around, except for Gaia. That's the best she got. I'm assuming the finale is going to be Fury's taking out Gravik, or Fury or Gaia, most likely Gaia, because she's the only one that has powers enough to stand up to him at this point. So it's probably going to be a fight between them, which makes sense since Gravik killed Talos, and Gaia probably wants revenge. I'm getting the impression all the people will be freed. Definitely not going to seem like Earth is going to be a safe space for the Skrulls anymore, even though they do, a few of them might help stop Gravik and his machinations. It's probably going to be like, hey, they're going to leave, and maybe Fury will keep his promise and find them a livable home where they won't have to worry about war and strife anymore. One thing that this series did surprise me with is how much this is a retrospective and an in-depth look at the character of Nick Fury, his past, his present, and his inevitable future within the franchise. Like, how this character has evolved over the last 20 plus years, from the first introduction where he had eyes and ears everywhere to now where he is just one lone man trying to right the wrongs of some of his past transgressions and things that he has done. And the people who have followed him are all basically in the ground at this point, except for his wife, who I think they're getting a divorce. I think they really played off of the who can you trust motif exceptionally well, because there were certain moments where I didn't know who was who, and then there were moments where they were just like, beat you in the face with this, Roadie is not Roadie. It's also going to be interesting to see once they actually find and save Roadie, like, how is this going to affect that character going into Armor Wars. These were 2 very intense episodes. My major gripe is, just like most of the series that Disney Plus has done, is that there just hasn't been enough time to let certain things flush out. It's like when Talos died, again, similar to Maria Hill, I had to question it until the following episode. I'm like, are they really dead? Because that just seemed like out of left field. It seemed kind of like anticlimactic too. I've enjoyed the characters. I think Gravik is a hell of a good villain. I love Sonya's character. She's just kind of the weird icebreaker, because she's like loving what she's doing. She's fun about it. I don't know if she's loving it, but she's super fun about it. And I like the deconstruction and the in-depth look at Nick Fury. I like looking at sides of him that we haven't seen, like his relationship with his wife. They love each other, but they're dangerous. It's an interesting series. I don't know where it'll rank at the end. We'll just have to wait and see when the finale rolls around next week. But these 2 episodes were very interesting, and I wonder if the harvest is going to become more of a thing beyond this series. Like, well, we now know that Sonya knows about the harvest, and we know that Gaia knows about the harvest. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, the character of Sonya shows up in Thunderbolts. I could see them trying to find the harvest or trying to get that for their own means. Wouldn't be surprised there. I don't think Fury is going to be as much of a major role after the Marvels, per se, but we'll just have to wait and see. They've proven me wrong multiple times before, and that's the fun thing about speculation. Prove me wrong. Let me see what you're doing. Hopefully this wasn't too terribly long, because editing is going to be a bitch. That's going to do it for this review of Secret Invasion episode 4 and 5. Let me know your thoughts on those episodes in the comments down below. And let me know your thoughts of what you can expect from the finale coming up next week. I'm hoping to have this video out before the finale. Here's fingers crossed. We're going to find out. Thank you so much for checking out this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. Again, if you're new here, and this happens to be your first time, and you happen to enjoy this video, please subscribe to the channel and maybe like and share this video around. I would really, really appreciate it. You can follow me on a lot of different social media platforms listed at the end of this video. Got a ton of videos on this channel you're more than welcome to check out right now. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.